Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. This is Matt from BrōTERRA Men, and I'm with my buddy.
I'm Anthony from Healthy Munchkins based in Brisbane, Australia. So we're just having a
Yep.
chat.
I'm actually in the Midwest here in the United States, and finally got to catch up with my buddy Anthony, who's over in Australia, who's 14 hours ahead of me. So it's been kind of rough getting us together, but we wanted to just share some of the things that we like to do with the oils and how we support our wives and our families in the oils business. So, Anthony, you want to start off?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start just by saying how we got involved. Alison, my wife, and myself, we've had our own cafe for about 7 years, and certainly, anyone who's owned their own business knows what it's like. You're working 24/7, even when you're not there, you're there. And after we sort of found the essential oils and we had a couple amazing experiences about them, Alison then found out about the business opportunity, and this was a couple of years later, two or 3 years later, after we actually got the oils initially. And then she was introduced to the opportunity, and she really felt that it was something that she wanted to pursue. And haven't had the cafe for a while, we're probably about ready for a change, and the opportunity was too amazing. And so I initially started by supporting her, basically being around the house and being the housewife most of the time while she was out running classes, but all the while having these amazing experiences, which I'm sure Matt will attest to, that you definitely have those experiences. And then we got to the point where we've sold our cafe and this is our job. So that's sort of how we got involved. What's your story, Matt?
That is awesome. Well, I'm in the transportation industry myself. I also have two little girls and a son, just like you and your
Yes.
lovely wife. And my wife is actually a registered nurse. So my wife went into nursing years ago because she wanted to help people. At the time, she didn't know anything about essential oils. They didn't really teach that in the college that she was at. But we've been in oils with dōTERRA for about 3.5 years now. About 3.5 years ago, she approached me and said, hey, I want to try something I've been looking at for a while now with these essential oils, and been doing some research. Did some research on different companies and stuff, and really loved dōTERRA from not just the oils, but all the other stuff that they do in, around the oils and co-impact sourcing and things like that, which we didn't even know all that stuff at the time. So we've actually fallen in love with dōTERRA even more since we've been in it, which I'm sure you and your family have been too.
Absolutely.
So I was kind of like you, where like my wife got me into it. I think that is true with most men, especially with my BrōTERRA Men. I'm finding out that usually the mama bear is the one in charge of all the healthy stuff and trying to look out for the family kind of stuff. So, the mama bears out there usually are the ones that are sometimes dragging us. I was drugged. I was skeptical at first, but she brought them, introduced them into the house. And like I said, I was kind of skeptical at first until I had my own oil experience. And that's where I think us men, when we finally get on board, and it's not just our wife dragging us to use the stuff, I think when we have our own oil experience, and mine was actually digestion. I had something that didn't agree with me for dinner one night, and I had just a drop or two of digestion I put on my belly, and the rest is history. That's what got me started. I had my own oil experience. It worked like really quick, and I was like, you know what? There might be something to this. So that's where I got started with oils. And my wife, she's the rock star. She's the one that's doing all the classes. I'm just like you. I was the babysitter whenever she would do her classes and stuff. I've been the babysitter the last couple of years when she goes off to Salt Lake to convention, and I'm really thankful I get to go this year. But I'm usually the babysitter, which I know a lot of guys out there are like that for their wives as well. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think with the digestion, that's probably a really common one for people to have that first experience. There's a
yep.
lot of people who are very skeptical, and it's just one of those oils that, yeah, certainly if you've eaten too much or just feeling a little bit rough, it's amazing. And yeah, you're certainly not alone in that. My mum's a huge fan of digestion. She
Yeah.
uses it for everything. And Alison's mum, that was the oil that converted her.
It's
Our,
black
our
licorice. I love the smell of it. It's like
yeah,
black licorice.
or Sambuca, whichever way you want to go. Um, um, Ours was actually on guard. We just had an issue with one of our daughters, and obviously I can't say too much compliance wise, but it was a mutual thing actually. And it had sorted an issue that had been going for 2 weeks overnight. And it was just, and that was after that, we both said, okay, we need to start looking at these oils first. And our medicine cabinet's been completely cleared out since then, because
That's
we've
awesome.
become that confident in what they can do and how to use them, that it's been absolutely life-changing for us. And that was probably a year before we then started doing the business. It was really that leading up to that was all about getting to know the oils, understanding them, seeing the power in them, and that, so, and certainly. Sorry?
I was skeptical. Like I was saying, I was skeptical at first, and a lot of men out there, you're going to look and you're just going to see the dollar signs. Let's just face it. I was the same way. I looked at the dollar signs. I didn't see the value of it. But like I said, when I got my first oil experience, I started thinking, man, and then I started breaking it down. I was like, wait a second, price per drop compared to what I was spending in the medicine cabinet, you really can't compare. And I'm so thankful that we took the leap and bought our kit. We got the family kit, and the rest is history. And now you can see what we have behind us. Honestly, I wish I could go back in time and get the diamond kit right off the bat. That's what my wife wanted to get from the beginning, and I kept chopping her down to the next kit down, to the next kit down. We finally got, we thought all the kits are great, but she wanted that diamond kit, and I see now why. I wish I would have just bit the bullet and done the thing then, and I would have been that much happier right off the get-go. But
we always find that, even with people who've started off with just a couple oils because they're skeptical or they feel they're expensive, and it's just purely that not seeing the value that they bring, not just as a product, but as just to an overall, I guess, if you live a whole holistic lifestyle, or just all those different benefits they bring. Because people will look at a bottle of peppermint, for example, and see it's, $20 and they'll be like, yeah, but $20 for a bottle of oil, but they're not looking at that peppermint is used in so many different ways. One thing we do now is we make mouthwash, and we use peppermint, spearmint, and On Guard in this mouthwash. And the thing that converted us is we actually decided, and this is what a lot of people are starting to do now, is they're having a look at the ingredients that are in their products. And I hadn't really. We used to buy a bottle of mouthwash, every couple of weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it was, we'd go through it. But then we looked, and there's actually one ingredient in the most popular mouthwash. It actually says can alter your DNA, and this is in mouthwash. It's crazy. And we were looked at that and go, oh my God. And so I had said to Alison, well, let's just make our own. And so now we make our own with peppermint, spearmint, and On Guard. It costs literally, it's a quarter of the price, and it's certainly not going to alter our DNA. It's only going to give us benefits.
While we're talking about mouthwashes and toothpaste and things like that, I got a story on that.
Yep.
My 4-year-old daughter, I don't know if your kids have ever done this, but I have actually caught her before we started with dōTERRA, she would be sneaking toothpaste and eating toothpaste somewhere in the house. We would find her eating it.
Oh, wow, okay,
this was before dōTERRA.
Yep.
So she's eating it and ingesting stuff that she shouldn't have in her body.
No, absolutely not.
Now, I can't say that we've made any improvements on her not eating the toothpaste, but now she's eating the On Guard toothpaste, which is boosting her immune system, and we're not as freaked out about it.
No,
do I still want her doing it? No, I don't, because I'd like to have my On Guard toothpaste. But I got to say, the On Guard line has changed our lives here. We got an On Guard hand soap dispenser in every bathroom.
Yep.
We diffuse On Guard. We put On Guard on the back of their necks before they go into school each day because, as you know, there's a lot of germs in school. I've got the On Guard hand sanitizer that I use every day at work. So On Guard's been great, but that toothpaste is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't say we've had a problem with our kids eating toothpaste, but even if you do look at toothpaste, if you look on a tube of regular toothpaste, it says do not ingest. If ingestion occurs, call the poisons hotline on a lot of toothpastes. So we don't really want that in our kids' mouths anyway. So
yeah, that's scary.
we've used On Guard in massive ways. The cleaners, all those sort of cleaners. General surface sprays was a big one that got us to switch and start making our own low tox stuff. you look at what's in your general surface sprays, and Alison initially sort of had this thought when Billy, our youngest, was still a baby, and she'd spray his high chair and everything he eats off, and then the food goes straight on that, and then they're eating it, and she certainly felt that's just not right, because when you look at what's in them, and so that was making surface sprays was one of our first things. And once again, people go, oh, the oils are expensive, but when you're using them across so many different ways, the value is actually immense. It really, really is. And you make your surface sprays for under $1 now.
Yep.
So
that's actually one thing that I really love about you and Allison and your Healthy Munchkins pages. And if you guys haven't already checked out their page, hop over and check it out. They got all kinds of DIYs they do almost weekly. It's just awesome because you get the kids involved in everything. And that's what I love about your page. Yeah. And you're actually one of my one of my original BrōTERRA Men, sending those awesome videos over. So, I mean, you do everything with the oils. We do everything with the oils here, but you kick it up a notch. You do the cooking.
Working together with you has been awesome. And that's one thing I do love about dōTERRA is the community is phenomenal. People people look at it at multi-level marketing with this stain in their eyes because they've seen the way other companies have been, and it's been competition between all the different people who are involved are all competing with each other. Whereas that's one thing with dōTERRA is everyone's on the same team, and it is amazing. I've forged this friendship with you over the other side of the world. We have these amazing friends of ours locally who we get to work with, we get to support. We're watching them create an income for themselves and their family, all the while, helping the health of their family. And everybody's winning, which is just amazing. It's really amazing. So
in the mornings, do you want to talk about what we do with the kiddos, you and your kids? And I got some list of things I do with my kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, you just have to go to any school or kindergarten, and there are kids with stuff streaming out of their noses. Everyone's constantly. It's just like a germ fest. So our morning routine, well, basically all the kids get on a pre-diluted mix of On Guard sprayed on their feet and up and down their back, just to give them that protection before they go in. With the girls have long hair, so we all know that head lice and nits just constantly rampant at school. So we just have a little spray that we made just with water, and it's just got a bit of tea tree, eucalyptus, and rosemary in there, and their hair gets sprayed with that and brushed, and inside their school hats every morning, because that deters those. And that's the two main things we do. They also all go to school. They all have just like a little lavender roller in their bags with them. Because I don't know what it's like where you are, but here, especially in the summer, mosquitoes are just everywhere.
Right.
And so we put I don't have one. I think you had one in your kit. The Terrell Shield, the insect spray. So they'll wear that during the summers to instead of perfect. That's just to stop them getting bitten. But if they do get any bites, and they've got their own lavender, which they can just apply straight away, and that just helps them. So that's probably the main couple ways that we use. What about yourself?
Well, in the mornings, my youngest daughter, she's 4 years old, and she's in charge of getting the supplements out. They love their PB Assist Junior. I love the PB Assist Junior. I don't know if you've ever had that.
Yeah, they do love that, actually. Yeah,
I'll eat 2 or 3 of those. I mean, I don't tell my wife, but I love that stuff. The A to Z chewables and the IQ Mega, they got the little smiley faces on them. The kids love that. They love the taste of them, but it's benefiting their body. And then right as they are getting ready to go out onto the bus, we get that DDR Prime roller. We made a little roller for them. We got an On Guard roller we made for them for the young ladies, because I have a young lady. She uses Clary Calm. It helps her. Then Intune is really good. We roll these up the back of their neck, behind that bone, right there on that bone behind their ear, maybe on the wrist or something. But that Intune is really going to help them at school to really focus. It's that focus blend. And then on the feet, before we put their socks and shoes on, we'll put a little bit of DDR Prime, On Guard, frankincense, melaleuca, oregano, and breathe.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just put a couple things like that on their feet. And, you know, oregano is one of those that is really good for you. And most people don't like the smell of it. They don't want to smell like an Italian restaurant. So you
No.
put that on the bottom of your feet, and, you know, that's the furthest point away from your nose. And then when you put your socks on, you're still going to receive the benefits of that. So that's what we always do. My wife she's a stickler on that. So it's like they're lined up one after the other. We got the kids ready, you know, they know the drill.
Yep.
So, and that's the thing too. Husbands, don't support your wives, support your families. This stuff really does work. And when you get into a routine, it's not going to, you know, it's going to be easier when you get yourself a little routine going. And that's what we've tried to work on for the last couple of years. And now it's just like second nature to us.
Yeah. Well, I think what we've always said is if you change one thing a week and just add one thing a week, then it all becomes quite easy. It's a bit hard if you say, well, I'm going to go and change all my cleaning products. I'm going to be using them on my house and do everything all at once. It's overwhelming. But if you just make one change a week, then it becomes really manageable, and it just becomes part of your routine.
Well, like you said earlier, we call them oil hacks. There's so many different ways that you can do things with the oils. You might only have this one particular oil for, you know, discomfort in your head. Then you find out, wait a second, that's really good to put on the bottom of your feet because it does something different down there. And it's just, there's so many different things that these oils are good for. So,
absolutely. Cool. What's another daily way that you use them yourself?
In the mornings, I'm always getting up and getting my supplements. I got my Lifelong Vitality. Got to have the Lifelong Vitality because that right there, that's, you know,
Game changer.
I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'5", 280, and I got to have a strong foundation. I'm a big house. Got to have a strong foundation, and my Lifelong Vitality is my foundation.
Yeah.
That's gonna start getting in there and helping your body on a cellular level. So you definitely have your Lifelong Vitality. You know, in the transportation industry, I mean, I don't know if everybody else has this problem, but when you're sitting for long periods of time, you can be in an office chair sitting, whatever. You're going to have lower discomfort in your back and maybe in your knees. I use you can see it up there. I got the deep blue polyphenol.
Yep.
Those things are awesome.
They're amazing.
In the morning. Yep. If I need an energy boost, if I'm having a day, this is like my morning routine. If I'm having a day where I'm just like, I don't even want to go into work, I'll throw a Mito 2 Max in. That really helps me get out the door and get going. So that's, you know, kind of some of the things I do because I get up before the sun comes up. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably fairly similar. Certainly the Lifelong Vitality, and I guess that the best way that I explain the benefits of those for me is that before we started using them, and we've always been, you know, reasonably sort of healthy, but we would constantly, by the time, especially when we had the cafe, and you know, once again, you know, you'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'd be on your feet all day, you'd be working through, you get home, you've got the kids, you do dinner, then you read their stories, and then you clean up the kitchen. You know, Alison had just started running workshops, so she'd be out, so I'd then be doing stuff, then I'd be doing bookwork for the cafe, and I'd probably not get to bed till midnight. So I was living constantly on a little bit of sleep, and I would get to the point where I'm putting the kids to bed, laying in bed with them, reading a bedtime story, and would just always fall asleep with them. I would just always fall asleep just because, you know, just really, really busy. Once I found that I started on the Vitalities, I wasn't falling asleep anymore. So I was, you know, they were literally buying me an extra hour and a half of my day, and I was feeling better for it. So that was, you know, that's probably the easiest, you know, first change, big notice I could tell with them. But I've also found those, I also have the DDR Prime oil for myself. So I have that internally every morning and every night. And then
I like
also
the smell of the DDR Prime too.
Yeah, it's good. It's a bit spicy when people aren't used to it.
We diffuse it sometimes at the house, and a lot of people have never done it as a diffuser.
No, I've never diffused it.
A couple drops of DDR Prime with frankincense, and you're receiving the benefits on a cellular level there with that DDR Prime. So you might try that too. I love the smell of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's something I've never tried. And the other thing I do daily is I've had 3 knee operations on my knee. I'm pretty much a point on my knee is almost bone on bone. So it's pretty bad, you know. But through using the Vitalities with the DDR internally, and then I have a blend that I apply with the deep blue rub, and it's got frankincense, it's got some marjoram, it's got some lemongrass, it's got some wintergreen in there, and some copaiba, and I apply that to my knee daily. And I'm mobile. I'm mobile. Where without it, it would be a struggle. It would be a struggle, but it allows me. I skateboard, so I can still get out there and skateboard and do all these sort of things. Where without it, I just wouldn't be able to. So that's a big thing.
I see the videos of you and your son doing that skateboarding stuff. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I was never brave enough to try that. I was always afraid I'd fall on my face.
I've fallen plenty of times. Other things I do, stuff like, can't see it, I do need a shave at the moment, but I make my own shaving oil, which is super easy. Like I said, we make the mouthwash. So, a lot of those stuff that we're just using them every day. And, we should have coined the term shift your shopping. So, that's another way people need to look at the cost, is that the oils don't have to be an extra cost in your life. They're an alternative cost. So instead of walking down that supermarket aisle and spending, $30 a week, $40 a week, $50 a week, however much, because some of that stuff's crazy expensive, you're just moving it and shopping somewhere else, but shopping somewhere where you're actually benefiting your family's health, as opposed to introducing all these toxins into your life in so many ways.
Yep. Yeah, we're trying to teach some of the people on our team about that too, because that's something with the men too that we get hung up, like you just said. Well, I got this much on my shopping list, and then I'm gonna have to buy oils too.
Yeah.
Well, you can integrate some of those things in, and then eventually you'll say, well, that shopping list isn't as big as it was, and your doTERRA is taking the place of your toothpaste and your mouthwash, like you said, and your cleaning supplies and your soaps and your shampoos. And I love the shampoo. We had to end up getting the big bottle because we had the small. I wasn't allowed to use that at the time. The ladies in the house got to use that, but now we got the big pump bottle. I get to use it, and I love the smell of it. But too, you don't ever grow out your beard?
No, not like you. No.
Well, I got a couple of beard oils that I use on mine because I get a lot of people asking, and I've got a couple of videos up, but I can. Some of just the single oils that I use, and sometimes you can double up on these too. I love frankincense. Frankincense is my favorite oil. Holiday Joy is my favorite oil to diffuse, but frankincense is my favorite oil overall. And if you don't already know this, frankincense is the king of the oils, and I love it to death. It's the best one. I love the smell of it. Then you got cedarwood. That's my second favorite.
Yeah, I love cedarwood.
Yeah, I love the cedarwood. I love vetiver, the Douglas fir, arbor vitae, Siberian fir, and balance. I think you might like that one.
Yeah.
But I like the smell of each one of those oils in my beard. But then I've got a couple of other beard oils that I make too. So, and then also with like razor, because I shave up here. I don't shave all this, but I shave up here. And if I get razor burn, I use just a couple drops of fractionated coconut oil and 1 or 2 drops of cedarwood and or lavender. If you want to just stick with the cedarwood because you like the smell of cedarwood, or if you're okay with the smell of lavender, both of those help to relieve that burn that you get from razor burn.
Yeah, so, see, I used to get razor burn when I used to buy the gels, but since I've been making my own shaving oils, I don't get it anymore. So that's been really good for me. Is that I don't get that anymore, and I'd always shave and get those little pimples you get after you shave and that sort of stuff. I don't get them anymore, so that's been a bonus. I try not to shave too often, but
Well, see, another thing that I used to do, we were talking about shifting your shopping. You need to go upstairs, buddy. Go upstairs. I'm recording right now. Go on. Sorry.
That's so good. We're family men. It's family.
I used to buy a cologne, and a good friend of mine brought me a little recipe. So now I have a roller bottle that I keep with me, and I just roll in the back of my neck or my wrists. But
what's in your cologne?
It is 15 drops of wild orange, 15 drops of frankincense, 15 drops cardamom, and 20 drops of Indian sandalwood. So I get a lot of people that's seen the video, and they're always like, which sandalwood? It's the Indian sandalwood. It will smell a little bit different from the other sandalwood. So I love that. And then, I had somebody the other day that did the exact same thing with the sandalwood. They're like, man, that's a kind of a pricey oil. But then they started looking at all the benefits of that sandalwood and what it can do, plus the frankincense and cardamom in it. And then that wild orange makes it a little sweeter smell. And I carry this with me. I've made a couple of these over the last year. and it lasts a pretty good pretty good time.
Yeah, and
I'll go through it in about 6 months.
yeah, I mean,
But
well, you sort of say, oh, that's a bit pricey, but how much is a bottle of aftershave these days? You go buy a name brand bottle of aftershave and it's $60, $70.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I used to make my own, and I used to always wear. It's probably not too dissimilar, but it was always wild orange, balance, cedarwood, and arbor vitae. So, certainly some of your favorites there. But since the Amavi came out,
Yeah.
I use that and balance together.
Yep.
I just have those together, and that's what I do daily now.
So you made a roller of the balance?
Yeah, well, all I did is just because I have my little kit that I carry around, and it fits the 10 mil roller. So I literally just tip the bottle of balance into a roller. So that's just straight, just so it's easier to carry.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I actually made a balance roller too.
Yeah.
I got that and a Mave I keep with me. Actually, while we're on that subject, now for the guys watching, I don't want to overwhelm you or anything, but I get a lot of questions on what do I carry with me all the time. And this is actually what I started out with. It's just a little sample dram. It has the 8 oils in it, which is great. I had cedarwood, peppermint, wild orange, lemon, digestin, breathe, frankincense, and I think cedarwood is what I said. Yeah. So that's what I used to carry with me. But being on the go like I am with the transportation industry that I'm in, the little sample drams, I would always you have to pop the cap and then drip a couple on your finger and then use it. Well, for Christmas this past year, I asked my wife to get me the touch kit. And this is what I carry with me now. Now, when I show you guys this, I'm not saying that all you guys have to have this. You don't have to. This is what I wanted to do. But, with that, I've got my On Guard hand sanitizer because I get into places all the time that have a bunch of germs. Maybe they don't have any soap dispensers or whatever, and I want to make sure I'm putting stuff on my hands that's good for my body. And then, as we talked about earlier, I got the Terra Shield because this time of year over here in the United States, the mosquitoes are out really bad. Bugs are eating me up. The Terra Shield keeps all that away. And then, I've got my On Guard and frankincense, especially in the wintertime here. I always roll that on the back of my neck. And I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about what we do with our kiddos, a little pat on the back here. And I can't say that this is going to be like this all the time, but last year in school, all the oils that we put on our kids, they were the only kids in their classes that didn't miss any school. Now, I mean, you can say that's just luck or just coincidence. We oil them up before we go into school. And knock on wood, thankfully, I've not missed any work because of that either.
Yep.
So, I mean, there is something to say about that. Other people have asked, well, how come you guys never get sick? And I'm not saying we don't ever get sick, so please don't misunderstand.
Yeah.
But the oils really help support your body. I mean, they're
massively, hugely.
plant-based. They're going to help your body 10 times better than anything that's manufactured in a lab somewhere. So,
yeah, well, we look at there's been quite a nasty flu season here, and constantly speaking to these people that, oh yeah, I've had 2 weeks off, I've had to have a week and a half off, and it's gone through our house as well. But we've been religious with the oils, and you can say it's coincidence, you could say maybe it's a better diet, but none of us are out for more than 2 days. And that's so it's not that you somehow these germs don't find you, but your body's just better equipped to be able to deal with them and bounce back quicker. And that's what we find. And it's also like what you're saying about doing it every day. It's not about being reactive. It's not saying, oh, my kid's sick, I need to do something. It's about giving their body that support every day so that when they encounter their things, their body's already in a better position to deal with it.
I remember, and this is when you know that your family your kids are getting it. When my youngest daughter was just learning to speak, she would say the dad and mama and stuff, but there was a point where she would say oils, and she would put her hands like, so the kids, your kids are your little ducklings are going to follow behind you. Whatever you're doing in your family right now to help your wife support your wife, your kids are watching you, and you want to give them the best. And it just brought joy to my heart when I saw my littlest daughter asking for her oils. And now, like I said, she's the one in charge of getting all the supplements in the morning. So when you get that routine going, your kids don't know any better. They're just going to shove junk down their mouth if you give them junk to put in their mouth. If you give them candy and all that stuff all the time, obviously the kids are going to just eat the candy because they're going to love the taste of it. But you and I both know that that's not good for them. If you put these oils on them, they're not going to know any better. But at the same time, you know that you're giving them the best fighting chance in that day at school or wherever.
Absolutely. Everything we do, our kids are watching, and our kids hold us accountable too. If we tell our kids we're going to do something, or if Alison and I decide, even if it's a business goal, we'll tell our kids what our goal is. And our eldest daughter, she will ask us every day, "How are you going? How are you going?" Yeah, and they keep us accountable. Yes, they are, buddy. I'm just recording. Yeah, come here just quickly. Do you quickly want to say hello to everyone?
What's up, Billy?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just recording a video, so we just finish here, and then I'm going to cook breakfast. Okay?
This little guy is famous. I've seen him on the other side of the world. I've seen him in all these videos.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
He's 10 times better on that skateboard than I am.
What was that, sorry?
I said he's 10 times better on that skateboard than I am.
Yeah, so where we're at. So, yeah.
Well, we talked about what we do with our kids, our morning routine. We talked about, what you do with your aftershave, what we do with my beard and cologne and stuff. But we didn't talk about, we talked a little bit about what we do throughout the day. What about when you're wrapping the day up and it's time for bed?
Our bedtime routine, we have a little blend we made, and our kids are pretty good sleepers, actually. Touch wood. But certainly we do have our middle daughter. There was a period where she was, whether or not it was just adjusting to her new grade at school, but she was just being a little bit unsettled going to sleep. And so, together I sat with her and we made a little, what we call our sleepy time blend. And that was just her nighttime blend. And we'd put some lavender peace in the diffuser, some breathe in the diffuser, because I always like to diffuse that at night just for clearer breathing at nighttime. And we had a little sleepy time blend. She would bring it. We would just massage it into her feet in the back, and that would really settle her. And that was certainly a turning point. And we probably only had to do that for 3 weeks, really. And she just became more settled with her bedtime routine. But certainly now, even if she's had a busy day, or if she knows she's got a party, or there's something exciting the next day, so she's a little bit restless, she'll come over, she'll bring me that little sleepy time blend, and she knows it's just going to help her. And so we will use that through the house.
We use some of the same ones, the lavender and the Serenity. My wife, she'll take Serenity soft gels, and like if on a Friday night, maybe for her to just totally sleep in the next day, she'll have the Serenity soft gels. She'll put a couple drops of Serenity on as well, and also diffuse the Serenity. I love the Serenity as well. But also, I've really had great success with a good night's sleep with vetiver. And if you have the patience for vetiver, just keep it in your hand for a little bit, and it'll warm it up. Vetiver it's a slow oil to drip, but it's worth the drip. But I put a couple drops of that on my chest, or for me, I've got my built-in diffuser right here with my mustache. I put a couple drops right there, and I'm like, and I feel like I really got a good restful night's sleep. So.
Yeah. We have used vetiver with Billy actually when he was a little bit younger, getting to sleep, and we would just do what we call sleepy toe, and we'd just get a drop of vetiver and massage that across his 2 big toes, and that would even, no matter how hypo he was or unready for bed, it would just bring him down, and you see, it was incredible actually. We have a member on our team who their child was, I think, when we introduced her last year, her son was 3 years old, and she hadn't had a full night's sleep that whole time with him. We introduced her, and it was vetiver that changed the game for her, and she's getting sleep every night now, and it was because of vetiver. So it's amazing. So whenever we talk about vetiver, it's her story, and just how much that's transformed her. And because of that, she's sharing the oil everywhere and loving it. And, so by doing it, we are transforming people's lives. It's incredible, really. you know, and a little thing just like that, you know, may seem minor for those, I guess, for those of us who don't have kids with sleep problems, but for those that do have those sleep problems, it gets consuming, all consuming.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, our nighttime routine though varies. It's sort of not too fixed. We just sort of do it as we do. Um, you know, we also use them in cooking every night. I do most of the cooking in the house, so we're cooking with the oils every night.
Yeah, there's a really awesome video. You did a really good video on that too. So if anybody wants to check back on both your Healthy Munchkins YouTube, and I have the copy of it too that you sent me on the
Yeah.
BrōTERRA YouTube, but it's really awesome. You go through a whole range of oils and how to use them and just a bunch of different ideas. And I've actually used that video myself to do some stuff here around the house. So I really appreciate that. It was an awesome video.
Well, that's just such an easy way to have it. We have an oil box in the kitchen just with all those different cooking oils, and so it's just a case. Once again, it's another shift your shopping type thing. Is that you don't need to, because going and buying fresh herbs can be expensive and they don't last. You know, you might need coriander for a dish. You're going to have to buy a whole bunch of coriander, use a little bit of it, and the rest goes bad because you know you might not be using that dish every night. But
That's
so you have the oils there instead, and that they're always there. They always last, and it's never an issue. And it is just a straight substitution.
That's a really good point too, because you're going to buy a bunch of that coriander and it's going to go to waste. Some of it. But
absolutely.
With dōTERRA, you take a little toothpick or just even a drop, and if you want to add more, you can add one more drop.
Yep.
You know, that's about all you're going to need is a drop or two.
Absolutely, it's so cheap. It's such a cheap way to use it.
Always add more, and if you don't add more, guess what? The rest of it stays in the bottle for next time, and it doesn't go bad like the coriander you just bought. So
yeah, and especially and there's always going to be certain ones that like who it's always not that easy to find some of these herbs like cumin or all these other sorts of things just aren't that readily available. So if we have them in the oil, they're ready. You know, we've always got them there, you know, regardless of the season. So that's you know, why we use them so much in the kitchen.
That's awesome too. That's one of the other things that I personally love about dōTERRA. I like to go to dōTERRA's YouTube channel and watch, and like we talked about vetiver a minute ago, they have an awesome source video from vetiver, and you can see how it's actually shucked from the ground and distilled. And I love that. And I love that dōTERRA is not just, they're not just giving us oils. They're giving us the best oil in the place that's grown in the world, the best place in the world. And that's why we have all these different places all over the world that we get, you know, we get our lemons from Italy, and we get, you know, our ylang ylang from Madagascar, and all these different places that we get this stuff. It's just like dōTERRA has gone and done the footwork and got all the scientists involved and all we got to do is purchase a bottle of oil and use it in our kitchen or bathroom or wherever we're using it. So that's the other thing I love about dōTERRA.
Yeah, that's just, and and by doing that, sorry, excuse me. And by doing that, they're supporting some of these third world nations just in such amazing ways. You just have to look at some of those co-impact sourcing videos and seeing the change in their lives. You know, and that's the great thing about the co-impact is that it's impacting us with these amazing oils. It's impacting these growers, you know, by giving them a future they might never have had, by paying them more than they ever paid, by building schools, by building, you know, medical centers, just by educating all these people on sustainable ways to develop while using their generational wisdom to get the best products.
Yep.
It's really, really cool. It's really cool.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to touch base on while we had each other on here?
I probably think we've probably covered quite a few things now. Probably overwhelmed those who might be new. But
well,
it's a lot. Sorry, what was that?
But I wanted to, you know, finish up with telling, you know, the men that are watching this, just your wife or your girlfriend, she has the best intentions. She wants to do what's right. She's the mama bear. She wants to do what's best for the kids, and just go with her on it for a little bit. Try an oil or two and take it from just a couple of guys who were, I was skeptical. I'm not skeptical anymore. The stuff really does work. dōTERRA is a great company. I'm so thankful that we took the steps to get us to where we're at now. And we're just like changing the world one drop at a time now.
One
So,
drop.
Anthony, again, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you taking
Likewise.
the time to do this with me. You know, Healthy Munchkins is awesome on Facebook, YouTube. You guys are doing some great work. You and Allison and the kiddos. You know, I'm so proud of you guys and where you guys are.
Look at you, man. You've done such an amazing job. You've really embraced. You know, if everyone hasn't liked the BrōTERRA page, you know, I'll you know, we'll have the links in the bottom. You know, like Matt's page. It's amazing. He's got amazing content. How many followers have you got on there now? 15,000 or?
Yeah, we're over 15,000 now. My group, or my goal is, I just, you know, I started out the page just help my family and help the men on our team to support them. But then, you know, one thing led to another, and now my goal is to just try to help as many men across as many doTERRA teams as possible.
Yep.
So, you know, and that's where I kind of came across you, and that's how we met. And, you know, I got a great friendship from you out of it, and it's been awesome. And the community, it just keeps growing. So
yep, it
I
does.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool, man. Thanks, Matt, so much. It's been awesome to have a chat. It's always good to chat with you anyway. And yeah, I know it's late for you, so you've had a long day. So go put your feet up, relax, and we'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Hang on.